Welcome back to the show. Pleasure to see our next guest. Of course, there is a huge soccer tournament going on in Europe right now, Euro 2012. And joining us from Full-Time Soccer on the Team 1040 is Mike Martignago. You've been working, doing some other stuff lately, though, from what I understand.
Yeah, plenty of Whitecap stuff going on, and it's been a busy season and a good one so far, too.
Do you remember the Super Soccer theme song? We were just arguing over it. I can't remember it.
I remember it. I'm not going to sing it, though.
Okay,
You're not old enough to actually remember it.
But I'm knowledgeable.
Right.
Very well said.
What he lacks in age, he makes up for in this thing called knowledge.
And confidence, yeah.
The reason why we were discussing that is because we were talking about the third jersey that was just released. I'm not a fan of the brown, Arbutus brown, is that what they're calling it?
Arbutus brown and sky blue.
I think they should have gone throwback to the 80s heyday and done like a retro jersey instead of this. Why did they do that?
The third shirt is always going to be different, and so they're going to go a little off the board when it comes to color, and we've seen that across the league. We've seen that in Europe as well with club teams, and so, they try to make it a little local at the same time by going Arbutus brown.
Yeah. I didn't know there was an Arbutus brown.
I'll tell you, I don't think anybody did. But one of the things that's always interesting about the third jersey, no player will ever admit this, but players are superstitious. They feel more confident in certain things. And that game against the Rapids, where they went down to 10 men, they were wearing the third jersey, and that was probably the best I've seen the Whitecaps play over the last 2 seasons in the MLS. They were incredible.
And arguably, when they went down to 10 men, they played better. Yeah. And it was really impressive to see what Martin Rennie did with this team. Not really, you could just settle in for the draw at home. Get your point, go home, you're happy.
He was pushing forward, baby.
They went for it. With 10 men, went forward, got the goal, and then held on for dear life.
And who are they playing tonight?
Tonight.
Red Bulls New York, the official name. New York Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Sans Thierry Henry and Rafa Marquez.
Yeah, people are getting up in this a little bit because, of course, David Beckham missed a couple games. Thierry Henry. It's like some of the premier players aren't really big on the travel involved in the MLS and are kind of avoiding the West Coast leg of a lot of the road trips and road games. It's
a shame, and it's a shame for fans, obviously. I mean, no Thierry Henry, no Rafa Marquez, the Mexican international. That said, though, it's a benefit for the Whitecaps. I mean, book 3 points right there, another victory.
It's going to be another great game tonight,
okay,
man. They're killing it.
Let's talk Euro 2012. You are obviously an English fan.
I am. That's right. Big fan. Wayne Rooney shirts. Not really.
How good has the opening round of Euro 2012 been? I mean, people have talked about it in terms of quality, but statistically, too, this is one of the highest scoring Euro tournaments ever.
60 goals through 24 matches, so 2.5 per game. Not a single scoreless draw, and that's the first time since, I believe it was Euro 88, when there was only 15 matches, so 24 this time around in the group stage. It's been fantastic.
And Mike, does this mark a change in the European philosophies of soccer or football in terms of how they've always thought of themselves? As there's always been attacking teams. The Netherlands were renowned for it for years. Croatia was always very aggressive, but it seems like all the teams now are really taking that mindset of pushing forward, pushing forward.
Well, Spain's playing, beautifully. Germany is really, their tempo, their pace is really high end. You mentioned the Dutch. They've been bounced from the tournament, but they play that way. The Italians are starting to play more like the Spanish. If anything, England is starting to play more of a defensive, maybe safe to say Italian style, which is a bit weird, but it's results oriented, and that's all that matters, and they won their group, so they should be happy.
Yeah. Well, as everyone knows, I do love the soccer for many reasons. Let's talk...
Like the jersey exchange at the end of the game.
The jersey exchange is so fun.
Terrible.
You guys probably don't like it as much as I do, but let's talk about some of the players. Ronaldo, of course, is one of the names that everybody knows. How has he been doing throughout the matches?
He was completely... raked over the coals after that second match against Denmark. They won that match 3-2 Portugal, but he didn't have a great performance. He missed a bunch of chances. That third group stage match when Portugal went in and needed a result, played exceptionally well, and he really turned it around. And there's always that debate, and now Lionel Messi, the Argentinian, obviously not at this tournament because it's not European, but
although the Argentinians wish they were European sometimes.
but there's always that debate: Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
They still have difficulty on the big international stage. Both of them have struggled. They've done well at the club level. Here they are on the international stage. Ronaldo put in a great performance in Portugal.
Well, and I have to say, even though I'm not cheering directly for Portugal, I don't have a ton of allegiances. Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, for all his faults, everything else, it's fun to see big-time players on a big-time stage actually achieve instead of fail, because a lot of these tournaments, a lot of these players have been defined by their lack of success on a world stage versus their ability to sort of step up to the game as well.
Definitely, and it just adds more fuel to the fire. It's just that weird thing, and I think we see it in hockey too, especially locally, when Sidney Crosby comes to town, when he's not wearing a Canada jersey, or Alex Ovechkin. We love to hate those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the stars
Put on
of the game,
national
though.
jersey, they're heroes.
Yeah, but they're the stars of the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are the stars of the game, just like Messi and Ronaldo. For whatever reason, there's that love to hate those guys. They don't really get any breaks.
And Mike has been loving Euro 2012, saying it's better than World Cup soccer.
Well, yeah, I think it's just, you know, and this is one of the issues Euro faces. This might be the last great European Championship tournament, because they're adding how many teams in the next
8 more.
year?
So
8
24
more.
for Euro 2016. And they're completely watering down the tournament. And it's a shame because, like we've talked about, this has been an exceptional tournament. It's been, you know, the energy has been outstanding. The results have been terrific. And now you're adding 8 other teams. And, you know, it's fair to say it's a bit of a UEFA cash grab.
Well, and I was going to say, you're sort of, you know, what happens in the World Cup all the time is that first round, where we've seen such quality this year in Euro, ends up watered down because you have teams that really can't achieve that same level of success, and it's kind of hopeless. And they're only going to stay in the tournament by playing a really defensive-minded game and just sort of collapse.
It's true, right? I mean, you've seen it with New Zealand, for example, who granted drew all 3 matches at the previous World Cup, but, you know, North Korea, you know, they go out and play great for a half. No, absolutely not. They play good for a half, and then the roof caves in afterwards.
Okay, let's talk about a couple teams that are fun to watch. Italy and Spain.
They made it through.
They made it through.
They did.
Any surprises with this at all?
There he is. You know, there was a lot of concern from the Italian standpoint because back in Euro 2004, they were eliminated from the competition, and people said it was a bit of a Nordic fix between Denmark and Sweden. This time around, Italy had to beat Ireland, but they also were
Croatia, Spain.
Exactly. 2-2 draw would have eliminated them. Exactly how it was 8 years ago. Different countries, of course. Luckily, they got some help on that end. Spain beating Croatia 1-0. Italy did their part.
And away they go.
Barely
And
getting by.
here? This is
Spain's
Torres.
an elite team in this one.
Definitely. Fernando Torres scoring a couple times in this tournament. He's trying to get back on the right track. He's had a couple of poor years at Chelsea at the club level. But, you know, they're looking good. Spain.
And let's talk about your new movie that's coming out called Magic Mike.
Yes.
I didn't know that you were starring in this. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
You know,
Where's the do we have the IMDb on this? This is crazy. So
okay,
Magic
tell us
Mike,
about Magic Mike, what it's about, and your connection to it.
Channing Tatum.
you know, I did not know about this. I did not know about this.
So who is Channing Tatum?
You've been talking about this on radio.
Well, Channing Tatum plays a character by the name of Mike Martignago.
Close.
It's a little too close, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Now,
the spelling is very similar.
a friend of mine made me aware of this back in February. Channing Tatum's had like 20 movies out this year.
Yeah.
So somebody was looking up what his movies were, and they saw this, and they saw his name, and a friend of mine knew me and passed it along. And I was
Because this is based on a true story about somebody by the name of
Mike
Martignago.
Martignago.
Thank you.
It's far too close, if you ask me.
You can live the dream.
You could have went with a Smith or a Jones. No, it's
So he's
Martignago.
not just changing the name a little bit to avoid a lawsuit from you because this
Changing
is
the
based
name,
on your
just
life?
like Law and Order, ripped from the headlines.
Do I take it to the next level? Do I potentially sue? What should I do?
Well, I don't know. We're about to have the jersey exchange, so we can decide for ourselves whether future and male exotic dancing is on the table.
When can people listen to you on the radio?
Well, during Euro 2012, I got a nightly program, 10 o'clock to 11, on the Team 1040, teamradio.ca, and full-time soccer, Sunday nights, 9 o'clock.
Very nice.
Excellent.
And, of course, you'll be doing your usual duties at the Whitecaps broadcast tonight as well against the Red Bulls of New York. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure all the time.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a break.